hundreds of small eggs would erupt from my urethra, forcing themselves into your cervix. Then my penis would explode. I'm trying so hard to stay straight face.
Then his penis would explode and...
Hey!
Hi! Oh my God, hi!
God, hello! Welcome to Say Smut, a literary podcast for readers and non-readers.
Hey, thanks so much for stopping by today. That is Sarah, and she loves books.
And that's Hope and her dogs.
Yes,
whatever that noise was in the background, that's Hope, and she loves talking to me about books. Each episode, I break down the plots of some pretty wild smut books to Hope, who has not read them. Oh my God, Hope, I'm so happy to do this intro with you again.
Yay! I'm back.
She's back, ladies and gents. She's all kind of rested up after vacation.
I don't know that that's true, but I'm definitely here, and that's what's important.
That is what's important. I am so happy to have you back because we've had so many things happen. You have moved. You have a gorgeous home. I have a kitten.
Yes.
I now have 2 cats. We were just talking the other day about being a parent to 2 fur babies.
Yes. Yeah. She's joined the 2 fur baby parent club.
I have. But we do have a couple fun things to talk about before we get into our book today. The first one being, do you want to do a drum roll for me, please?
I'm afraid that I'll make too loud of a noise if I do it on my desktop, but like...
We are doing our first giveaway to celebrate this summer being a year of our podcast. And so we have this super cute tote that says this tote holds all of my smut books, and Hannah Grace's icebreaker book, and some extra fun goodies. And you can get into the running for those goodies by going to our Instagram and checking it out, following us, liking the post, and commenting a bookish friend who you feel like, would also love this. So we're excited to celebrate our year anniversary with you guys.
Yes. Thank you for sticking with us for a year or whenever you came in. Thanks for being here. We just appreciate it.
We love talking about books with you guys. And while we're at it, if you want to stay in touch with us, we do have an Instagram, as I just mentioned, and a TikTok that is at Say Smut Podcast. So that's where you got to go to get into the running for those goodies. And also, you should rate and subscribe. We don't want to tell you what to do.
We're just honestly making a recommendation.
We're making a suggestion as your friend.
Yeah, you can pick it up, you can leave it up where I put it on the ground, but we're just kind of laying it there, and you let us know.
My dad's favorite thing to tell me is that people will always tell you their opinions, and you can either put it on the shelf or put it in your heart. And I really think you should put this one in your heart, that you should subscribe and rate our podcast. But that's just a personal opinion.
It would mean so much to me if you put it in your heart.
Yeah. Oh, we belong in your heart because you guys are in our hearts. That's even true. Our haters, because we care too much about what people think about us.
Because we take all of your criticisms very seriously.
Because we take everything too seriously. No, but if you are on social media, you have definitely seen the New York Times best books of the 21st century thus far. Everybody's seen it. The big reveal, which they have since come out and had a list of like people's choice, essentially. And I'm like, that list is way better than whatever fucking list you guys created. No offense.
Yeah, you'll be unsurprised to learn that I've read at least none of the books. I'm pretty sure absolutely none of the books on this list.
You have. You want to know why? Because one of them is a Harry Potter book.
Oh, okay, that's one. I'm going through the list as we speak.
And where is
to see if I've hit any of these books, but mostly no.
I could have sworn that Harry Potter was on both lists. Am I a delusion? Maybe I've just stared at these lists for too long that I'm like, I don't even know what's on which list and what's like good and bad here. But somebody brought up something that was really interesting. She was like, look, I'm a British woman, and she was also a woman of color. And so she was like, obviously this is done by the New York Times, which is an American media outlet. But she was like, there is only one graphic novel in here. Granted, it's like a really great, I've never read it personally, but apparently it's a really great one. But there's only one graphic novel, no children's books, no like YA books. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I thought
I've read none of these, absolutely none of these books.
Yeah, and they're like predominantly white, they're predominantly English native, speaking. It's really disappointing, especially when you're like there wasn't a single children's book that you guys could put on here.
The best I have for you is that I can see the cover to Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow in my head because I've seen that book everywhere.
Is that on the actual bestseller or the best books, or is that
it is number 76?
Oh, because that's like a top 10 one on the People's Choice. 76. Where the fuck are you, 76? Where are you? Oh yeah, there you are. Mm-hmm. No, Demon Copperhead I heard is incredible. I don't know if I could emotionally do it. I do have the 5th season, which is number 44. Have not read it yet. Donna Tartt, I love The Secret History. Granted, that was written in the 90s. I have not read The Goldfinch, but I can only imagine that I love her pretentious shit. So I can't help myself. No, the one that's the best books of the 21st century reader's choice is a lot more obtainable. Like,
sure.
The Vanishing Half, Project Hail Mary, A Man Called Of. I mean, these are all Life of Pi, Crying in H Mart, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. That's the one this is the side I was thinking of.
Interesting.
Like all of these are way more read.
Yeah, I mean
that version, but of course they're more read because they're the People's Choice. But
like, the people who read recommended that.
Yeah, I do. Shout out to my girl Madeline Miller, who got Song of Achilles at 46 and Circe at 31. I love these. They're both Greek retellings. I have not read Song of Achilles yet because I just want to like savor it when I read it. But Circe's one of my favorite books. When we go to the top 10, if anybody's curious, 10 is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. 9 is Never Let Me Go. I am not going to mess up that name. I'm so sorry. And then 8 is My Brilliant Friend. 7 is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. 6 is Educated. 5 is Pachinko. 4 is The Goldfinch. 3, A Gentleman in Moscow. 2, All the Light We Cannot See. And 1, Demon Copperhead. So those are the reader's choice. And I haven't read all of them, but I'm more familiar with the books on this list than I am at all.
The cover for Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow looks exactly how I remember it to look.
I'm so glad. You're such a good reader.
Thanks.
So I wanted to touch on that because I know that everyone's talking about that freaking list. And we made a social media post that declared which romance books we thought deserved to be on the list. And we think Don Juan Velociraptor should be on that list.
Put it on.
Put it on, you cowards.
What are you afraid of?
What are you afraid of? This masterpiece? Okay, so we've done 2 episodes. We, being me, have done 2 episodes since you were gone. Have you listened to them?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I listened to them today while I unpacked some stuff.
What were your thoughts?
I mean, first of all, thank you so much, Liz, and thank you so much, Madison, for coming on in my absence. I love you both, and I love to hear from you, and you're both really funny, and your opinions are awesome. Loved both books. Am a little devastated to have not been on the pod for Light Me Up.
I know, but like
it's such a me book.
I know. I thought that, but I had to choose 2 books that there was no research that I felt like was very clear. Like I was like, these need to be ones that the research, there is no need for research in these, So unfortunately, I mean, I could have done one about drugs. The mix. I mean, we could have brought on your partner to talk about the influence of taking
absolutely insane drug use in place of beer use at a party.
Yeah.
What?
No, Light Me Up was wild. Big fan, big fan. Silver Fox was one I've had on my list for a while because I was like, it's hard to find contemporary novellas that are super smutty because it's almost like it's so easy to find super smutty monster books or stuff like that.
Right.
Whereas like the smutty contemporary books are going to be like 300 pages, 400 pages. So we can only do so much.
It's okay.
But I'm so happy that we had Madison and Liz on.
Yes.
And with that said, we are into our book today. And I wasn't even going to hide the title from you.
No, you didn't. I didn't. I will say that when I put my information in our little joint document that Sarah and I share when we do the podcast, it wasn't titled yet. So I have only seen this title like a couple minutes ago before we started recording.
I was like, I could, but there's no point. There's no point in trying to hide it from you. And as the listener, you have already clicked on it. So this is Alien Mannequin by Sylvia Morrow.
Here's what I'll say. Of the two words in that title, one of them I was not surprised by, and the other one I was very surprised by.
Yeah, well, I also asked you to research mannequins. So
yeah, the mannequins part made a lot of sense. The aliens threw me for a loop.
Oh, it's going to throw you for a mega loop when I tell you this story.
Wait.
So just to get started for our friends and fam, content warnings. Obviously, we have sexual content. We do have breeding, a breeding kink. We have mention of kidnapping and light bondage, but everything is consensual. And Storygraph, it has a 4.38.
Wow.
And on Goodreads, it has a 3.7. I'm trying to figure out how many actual reviews it has, though. It is 37 pages. Once again, we're going to stuff it full of a plot. I mean, is it really going to have a plot? I don't know.
We'll find out.
Before I do, I want to tell you about Sylvia Morrow, which I could not find a lot about our girl Sylvia. All I could find is that a little bio that said, she considers herself two confused corgis in a leopard print jacket. Like, just that's who she is. Ditto. She also wrote a popular book called Stuffed, which is about pillow smut. It's kind of like Unhinged, where a pillow, and then
gains sentience.
Yep. And then it's equally popular sequel called Double Stuffed.
Wow.
Yep. So are you ready to get into our story?
Yes, please. Let's do it.
Well, we open on our main character, Olimer, who is reporting to his captain before leaving on a super important mission. Would you like to guess what the mission is?
Does it have anything to do with aliens or mannequins or a combination of the two?
I can tell you it has to do with aliens. I can tell you that mannequins will be involved, but that is not the purpose necessarily of the mission. What do you think the actual, what is he going out to do?
Prevent aliens from taking over the world by way of inhabiting mannequins, which is how aliens obviously would do that.
That is such a good take, but actually he's on the flip side. He is the alien.
Plot twist.
Olimer's people are dying off, and they can only breed with one other species. And you can guess pretty much which one that is.
Mannequins.
Mannequins. It is humans. I'm not sure that mannequins have the right parts to, get down and dirty. And
anything is possible in fiction.
Really, it is. At this point in us doing this podcast, anything could come out of these books. I will get into how wild this is going to get. So his mission is to capture and breed a human. Okay. The problem is, and this is directly from the book, quote, unfortunately, if we mate with them directly, they explode. Pity. So we need to possess a secondary skin. The substance we are able to control is called plastic.
Oh, I see.
So Olimer aims his beam at whatever he wants to possess and then can wear that skin for a temporary amount of time. If you were Olimer, what would be your plan? You've got your mission. How are you going to execute it?
Are there limits to what you can scan to become? Because the most straightforward thing would be to scan a human. And
no, he can only possess.
Oh, it's only plastic. It's only plastic. It's only plastic.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I guess my hope is that I'll find a like appropriately sized plastic doll or mannequin in this case to inhabit, because that would be easier to interact with a human.
Of course,
you have to like become a thing. I mean, if I was super smart, I would find a plastic sex toy, and I would maybe become a plastic sex toy.
I 100% agree. I think you would do a blow up doll, right?
That would be hard though. I would want to make sure we could figure out a way of consent, because you gotta consent.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that.
But like that would also be easy and probably less frightening to a human than a mannequin coming towards them.
And if somebody is coming to get a sex doll or a sexual toy that is plastic of some form,
they're gonna fuck it.
They're already going to have sex with it or be intrigued at some point. So
that's the point.
Anyway, so their ship finds a building full of plastic, and it is in fact a mall. The problem is when he shoots his laser, he accidentally misses and reflects it off a mirror and hits multiple plastic objects. I was super confused at this point how or why this was put in the story, but it'll come in later. I felt like the author was like, how much more chaotic can I make this? Can I make this a little more crazy? So he like describes, and I'm going to say right now, I don't necessarily know his gender. He refers to himself as a male of some sort in his alien form, right?
Sure.
But he also takes the male form in the mannequin eventually. Mm-hmm. So like, that's why I'm going to use him.
Sure. That's fine.
So he now describes that a part of him is in this mannequin, but also a part of him are in these like egg things, these plastic egg things. And then a part of him is also in some like straw, like little ribbon, plastic ribbon type things. And I was sitting there like, what the fuck are we talking about? But we will get there. Okay. Just put that in the back of your head. Okay.
I'm keeping it.
But he does end up taking the form of a mannequin. Can you now tell us a little bit about mannequins, Hope, please?
I sure can. Welcome to my research segment called Don't Be a Dummy, Learn About Mannequins.
I wish it rhymed. That's the only thing.
Well, it doesn't. And
I'm sorry.
There's simply nothing I could do. Thank you so much, Wikipedia and the Met and Sempre Mannequins.
The Met?
Yeah.
Like the Met.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
yes.
Sorry, keep going.
Proportion London, Fashion United, the American Sewing Guild. A lot of research on mannequins, where they come from. And they came from a lot of sources. So before videos and photographs, we loved to sculpt and paint and draw the human form to look at. We even liked draping clothes on people during the construction phase of fashion making so that they would fit correctly. And like posing for art was fun at first, but then it would get really exhausting for the person who would have to just stand there and be like in this pose for someone to paint or to draw or to drape on. So like, what if there was a way that you could freeze a person in front of you so that they don't move?
So what if we just created mannequins?
Hear me out, sharks. If you could freeze a person so that they don't move and you can slowly work on things just at whatever pace you want, wouldn't that be better? Well, now you can with mannequins.
I did not know I was in the Shark Tank now.
You are. I would like $1 million.
I would like $1 million for a 10% stake in mannequins. And then I would come in and say, well, what are my royalties?
Yeah. We'll sort it out. We'll sort it out off the pod, but I think you'll find it's a worthwhile investment.
Oh, God. Okay.
Anyway. This is like a weird and not particularly straightforward research topic. So my sources all said similar stuff across them, but all of the sources were like kind of weird and kind of vague.
Okay.
Just to put that out there. So the dictionary definition of mannequin.
Oh God. Okay.
Sorry, I am going to start with that, but you'll see why in a second. So like Wikipedia and the Oxford English Dictionary and Proportion London, which is a company that makes mannequins and dress forms, all in their websites have in their history sections or in their definitions that the word mannequin has Flemish and French origins. So today's mannequin comes from the French word, which is pretty much the same, which refers to the human-looking form used by artists and designers and tailors. The French word mannequin comes from a similar word in Flemish, and that means little man or figurine. And according to the Wikipedia page on mannequins, people in Flanders in the Middle Ages would display clothing using male pages, and so that's where the term initially came from. Like when they replaced the male pages with the mannequins, that's how they got the name. This research does go down we weren't really sure when these were first invented back, but the general consensus is that mannequins have existed for a while, but have had a more recent renaissance. So there are versions of mannequins on record from at least as far back as 1300 BC.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
As recently
at least as far back, not as recently as.
I don't know if I misheard you or if you said it wrong, but I was like, that is recent.
As recently as BC. Anyway, according to Proportion London, we have records of mannequins found in Egyptian tombs, and that these early mannequins sometimes would be used to fit clothes or, to like display clothes when they weren't being worn, but also were used for religious significance and were made to look like kings or gods. More commonly and more recently, mannequins in dress forms were and still are used as a tool to replicate the human body for dressmaking and tailoring and displaying outfits, as references for art. So they're also called lay people. But I always think of the little like wooden posable mannequins that you would have for like an art class, like that. Wikipedia claims that a Renaissance artist, Fra Bartholomew, invented the first full-scale.
Bartholomew.
Yeah, I know.
Bartholomew. Gosh, he's always coming up with great stuff.
In addition to art, allegedly he came up with the first full-scale articulated mannequin, and I think that this was more akin to like the bendable, posy little guy. I know this is an audio medium. I am moving my wrists and hands about in the fun little bendy way like you would with one of those mannequins. So just imagine me doing it as I'm telling you all about mannequins and stuff.
She's just striking different poses
as she's telling you. I'm not trying to vogue, but I'm also not voguing while I talk about mannequins. Store mannequins, which are different from ones that are used for art a little bit, descend from dress forms. So those are used to make dresses and, make clothing in general. At first, we just had people with similar proportions to the subjects, like just kind of stand there for a really long time while garments were draped and pinned and sewn onto them so that everything was made to fit. And then we became tired of that because no one likes to stand that long. In the Middle Ages, so between, according to my research, the 5th and 15th centuries, which is a long span of time, we began seeing molds of the human body replacing the human stand-ins, which, like, thank God.
Yeah.
They're like, give me a break. I don't want to stand here so you can make this rich man's clothes.
Yeah.
So thanks for that innovation. By the 14th century, smaller human figurines called fashion dolls and other similar little models were used to showcase new fashions to people. So like truly a small version of an outfit on a doll. And we're like, dresses can look like this now. And they would present them to like, I don't know, some rich lady. And they were like, wow, I would like one of those made for me in my size.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Yeah, I want somebody to come to my house. I mean, I get that we have online shopping, which is essentially the same thing, but I want somebody to come to my house with little dolls.
I would love fashion dolls from which I would pick my various t-shirts and wide leg pants.
Yes.
Anyway, we also have mannequins being used in the fashion schools in Paris. And if I recall correctly, those mannequins came from Flanders. Like they would order them from Flanders and they would come over and they were called, that's where we get the Mannequin name, and it's all coming full circle.
All coming back to me. Anyway.
Exactly. Once we hit the Industrial Revolution, things get super exciting, super fast for mannequins. So yay, industry. As technology is advancing and the production of goods is accelerating and people are having more money to spend, we start getting the mass production of goods, especially in this case, clothing. And as such, we have more shops to sell things to people who don't have more money to buy stuff. And some of those shops have windows, and some of those shops are displaying clothes in their windows with mannequins. Wow. I know. I truly just flipped my lid over that one. But that's that. So once we've kind of gone into an age of consumerism, there's a lot more shopping. There's a lot more mannequins. We got mannequins all over the joint. Sometimes displaying full fashions on busts, or sometimes just like a full body pose. We love it. Mannequins pretty much accelerate into the forms we know them today from this point forward, and materials that get made to make mannequins advance with time as well. I found you can have mannequins of all different kinds of materials, and that in the past we've had wooden mannequins and wax mannequins, which is crazy to me.
Don't love that.
No, apparently it could get a little melty if you're not careful. So
just crazy. Wild.
Who could have thought? We got wicker mannequins. We got paper mache mannequins. We've got like the forms that you use to make outfits on. So they're kind of
like a chicken wire.
They're like a little bit padded and they have a fabric over them. But the base would be that kind of a mannequin, and fiberglass mannequins, and now they're all just made with like poly, whatever chemical, fun, fancy materials. I could go on and on. That you can make them out of all kinds of stuff. Fun things I did not initially consider about mannequins, which is that mannequins are used for obviously so much more than art and fashion, which is also art. So like,
so art and fashion,
which
is also art.
Art and wearable art. But super detailed mannequins built with realistic anatomy are used in medical training and in CPR and first aid training. So like, little CPR. That's mannequins. Mannequins can also be used in car testing, and I can't tell you how many times I've seen mannequins take L's in Mythbusters experiments. They're all over the place. So
embarrassing.
Yes. My favorite band with Mannequin in it is called Jack's Mannequin. And that's the end of my research. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I want you to know, I started asking, I gave you this topic before I even read it, which is not healthy of me to do. It's not healthy for the podcast, but
Wild
I did
strategy.
it. And I started reading and I was like, I really don't know where she's going to go with this that's going to apply, but you did find ways to apply it. So, because this is a very plastic mannequin.
Yeah.
And it's very important that it's plastic. And we're going to get into some of the other features of mannequins here in a little bit. Thank you so much for your research.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your service. So we're now going to switch gears to our second main character, Molly. Okay. Mm-hmm. Turns out it is the spring sale that is happening right now. Okay. Remember some of those features that I told you about earlier that I was like, it doesn't make sense. What are these egg type shaped things?
Oh, balloons?
No. They're just like the plastic eggs, like Easter eggs. Like they're like,
because
and then
the spring sale,
decorative like grass, like plastic decorative grass.
All makes sense now.
Yes, that's what he's talking about.
When you initially said egg-shaped plastic, in my head I did go like plastic Easter eggs, but then I went, no, Hope, that would be silly.
Really, because I went to those big round balls outside of Target that protect the front doors.
Those are concrete.
I know they're concrete, but for some reason I went that big with them. I was like, why are there massive Target balls in this mall?
Cars are always driving into
just going into these malls.
This store of the mall.
I actually shouldn't laugh about that because that actually happened in my hometown.
It's terrible. Actually.
Where somebody had a medical emergency when driving their truck, and our Walmart didn't have those barriers good enough, like spaced enough. I don't know what it was, but he went through the front door into the greeting area, into the Walmart. It was really crazy. So sad.
Were you at the news station when that happened? I was at the news station.
No, I was working at my other job right before I came to the news station.
Crazy.
And my cousin was working at that Walmart at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of crazy. Anyway, switching gears back to
the spring sale.
So anyway, Molly is a store manager at this department store. And so now she has all these responsibilities when it comes to the spring sale. She's worked hard, right? Did you ever do retail?
I did do retail. Yes. When I was in college, worked at 2 different stores. I don't know if I want to say which ones they are.
Don't.
I worked at 2 different stores. One not super enjoyable. The other arguably were.
I don't think you can tell me that there is a retail job that's great.
Well, after these 2 jobs, I went to a cupcake place, and that job was great.
No, but that's not quite retail. That's like something else.
Yeah, but I was basically doing the retail side.
Yeah.
Cupcakes.
No, I get it.
Anyway,
but yeah, no.
But yes, I have done retail.
Retail sucks. As somebody who did retail for a very short amount of time in my life, because I primarily worked in restaurants. Yeah, no, I never want to do a retail job ever again. But she's closing up the store and she's reflecting about the sale and whatever she's going through. And she's like, I fucking hate my job. I fucking hate all these things. And she's like, a lot of people would be scared to be amongst all these mannequins alone in a big mall, in a big department store. But I, in fact, love it.
What you should be afraid of are the big plastic eggs and the plastic Easter grass.
Yeah. Well, he is in a mannequin too. He's in all 3. So I will get to why. Okay, Okay, hold on.
I can't wait for it to be necessary. Go ahead.
So she's like, actually, I have agalamatophilia. I could not. Okay, it is AGALMATOPHILIA. So I don't know how you say that, but it is attraction to human-like things like mannequins. It's having like a sexual attraction to them.
Right? I had guessed that regardless of its
no. Yeah. No, I just sound like an idiot.
No, don't even worry about it. Words are so hard.
They're so hard, and guess what? It's just going to get harder. Because I'll get into the description of our alien later. So when all the custodians leave for the night, she goes to the seasonal display in the men's clothing area where there's kind of a blank spot in the security cameras that they don't cover. And Molly says, this becomes my personal bordello. So this is like her little brothel, she says. This is where she starts. This is where she goes to masturbate to mannequins. She goes on to describe why their mannequins at this department store are the best. They've got perfect skin. They've got faces painted on them. Quote, not like those blank-faced ones. I mean, I'd make do with a no face. Don't get me wrong. But the faces on our mannequins are just so well done. I wouldn't ever want anything different if given a choice. End quote.
The term no-faced sounds derogatory.
But you know what? Just so derogatory towards mannequins.
Yeah,
so
I think she should be more open-minded. Anyway,
so she's getting cozy with a mannequin. She's like stroking its hard stomach. She's like cuddling its chest. What? You're gonna say something?
I just want to make it clear before we go further that the thing that I'm in stitches about and most perturbed by is not the attraction to mannequins and is having a corner of the store in which you masturbate, even if security cameras cannot see you there.
I mean, look what she's going to do. She's going to take one home with her. What did you want from her? Also, I'm sure in this day and age, you can buy one.
I was going to say my first move would be, it's crazy too, because now we have AI where you could take a picture of it and circle it and then find where it was purchased from and just kind of go from there.
Yeah.
But even without that technology, just the internet, I assume exists and, you could just buy your own. But anyway, proceed.
This is... It
doesn't matter now.
Okay. We're already on this train. We're already going. So Molly's getting cozy. She's like cuddling it. She's like all up in its arms. She thinks she sees it move, but then she's like, that happens all the time. Like, you think things move when they don't move. But then
there is nothing wrong with me.
It caresses the back of her head.
Oh.
And she like freaks out. She's so startled, she passes out.
Oh no. I mean, I get it.
Yeah. Immediately we flash back to Olimer's POV, and he's like, I don't think that was supposed to happen, actually. I don't think I was supposed to make her pass out. I thought I was being really nice because she seemed to really like me. I don't know what that was about. That's true. So a part of his mission was to breed no matter what it takes. So this feels a little gross, but he continuously says that he's like, I would want her permission. I want to make sure she knows what she's getting into. Like, it would feel wrong to like do that. So I want to make that abundantly clear that the
good moral compass on this alien.
Olimer is very, very like good. We're a good boy. Okay. So when Molly wakes up, she's like screaming bloody murder. And remember, I'm going to keep on bringing up, remember how he split himself into multiple parts?
Yes, I will not forget that he is also in plastic Easter eggs and fake plastic grass for Easter.
Uses the grass to like tie her down, to like get her to stop screaming and freaking out. Okay, because that would
calm me right down.
That has always worked when you're trying to calm somebody down. Is to tie
Easter
them
grass. Down. Tying me to the ground so I can't move or scream anymore would make me so calm.
He again reiterates that he just wants to explain it to her and that he won't impregnate an unwilling female.
So I would have just waited a couple more sentences before I started bringing up impregnation of any kind.
Well, we're not there yet. We're not there yet, quite yet. Because here's my thing is that he can move pretty fluidly for having a mannequin body. But for some reason we can't use I'm like moving my arms. Yeah,
I'm doing the Squidward dance, tentacles out.
Yeah, well, just wait until we get to the tentacles. Anyway. I feel like I just keep on like throwing things out that I'm like, well, we're gonna get to that too.
We'll just get to it later.
So even though he can move and all this stuff, and he's obviously that we're gonna get dick down at one point in this book, he can't use his mouth on this mannequin. That's impossible. So instead he uses mind to mind speak, which is a communication tactic that his people have, but it's typically only for intimacy. Like that's a very intimate thing to do with somebody, but he's like, I guess
ask permission before you enter someone's mind to communicate with them.
That is absolutely true. But also I just think like you're about to have sex with this woman or try to have sex with this woman. Doesn't really matter what's politically correct as far as like intimacy goes. Like, oh, I shouldn't do this because it's a little too intimate. Well, you're about to ask her to breed with you.
That's true. So all things considered, that's probably like the one of the least intrusive things.
Yeah. So he mind to mind speaks with her. What do you think his opening line is to tell her what his mission is?
Is it like standard alien? I come in peace.
Oh no, it's equally as good. It's, hello, my name is Olimer. You're my only hope.
Oh, straight from Star Wars.
Yeah, no, we just took a whole line from Star Wars. So he goes into this entire monologue explaining how he needs her to help save his people. And it would only mean like breeding her over multiple years and taking her to live with his people. And like, I'm like, okay, like that's a lot to ask of somebody. But he also puts in a little jab in there, quote, "We have been great caretakers to our planet, much unlike your kind. No offense intended, of course." And she says, "None take it. We've fucked this place up." So you know what?
Look, I agree.
The author was like, Sylvia was like, you know what? I should put in climate, a climate statement in my book right now.
Look, I'll be straight up honest with you right now. If a big sexy alien was like, hey, come and live with me and my people on my planet where we take very good care of its ecosystem, unlike your garbage planet, I would be like, okay.
Oh, you got me there.
Yeah, here I go.
And guess what? You're not too far off.
Cool.
But she gets on board with this plan a little too quickly. And kind of is like, well, why wouldn't I get take the chance to have sex with a mannequin. Like at this point, she's kind of unclear on whether she will let him breed with her, but like she's like, I will have sex with you in this form. I don't really care.
What I'm understanding is I am getting to have sex with you in this form in a place that is not the store in which I work and does not contain much signage about the spring sale.
They are going to have sex in the store in his current form.
All right.
He's trying to proposition her to be like, okay, but then we're going to go back to my alien planet. We are going to worship the ground you walk on because you will be pregnant with our little babies.
See, I was kind of hoping that since he had kind of like given up the entire game about saving the population and continually breeding, that they would maybe go to a nicer place than this weird part of the store.
No, it's going to get weirder because she's like, so how would we do this? Like, is it insemination? Like, you know, is it like, you know, a third party would come in with like a little white cloak, you know, like whatever.
Bro.
Yeah. But, or are we doing it the good old fashioned way, you know? Yeah. And he was like, well, let me tell you what the method is in my my home planet alien form. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, before I tell you what that method is, I'm going to tell you what he looks like in his native form. Okay. Yes, I'm not even going to have you guess because I don't think you could pick up any of this.
No, so I'll feel silly trying.
They have tentacles.
Great.
They have eye shoots. And by that, I mean, like, you know how crabs have like little shoots that go up to their eyes?
So like kind of up and above the head. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Carapace. I don't know. I had to look this up. I hope I'm saying that right. Carapace. It's like a hard shell that crustaceans have. Okay.
Oh, okay. Sure.
So essentially imagine this man as some type of like lobster crab crustacean sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big, sexy lobster with tentacles. Huge,
very
sexy
massive.
Lobster with tentacles.
He explains it as like every part of them is built to be strong for battle. The men.
A big, sexy crustacean.
Yeah. But the women of his, like the reason that they can't breed right now is because there was this little accidental fluke with the water and a lot of the women lost their ability to give birth.
That's
devastating. And then like, so now they need humans to birth. So, but he's like, even the women on my planet are not built like we are. Like we are men, so we gotta be strong.
Sure. So we
gotta be big manly men.
Imagine it's early spring and you're working at Aeropostale. And it's closing time. And first you saw by a sexy mannequin. But then has he presented his human form? Because what I'm envisioning
No, his alien
form.
No.
He hasn't? Okay.
She doesn't know that yet.
What I'm envisioning is essentially Mr. Krabs with tentacles.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me get to the natural method of getting pregnant on his
How does Tentacle Mr. Krabs do this?
This is a really long quote, so I need you to buckle up and enjoy it.
I'm ready.
Quote, I would grab hold of you with my claspers and insert my penis into you. Spines would extrude from it and embed themselves into your vaginal walls. Hundreds of small eggs would erupt from my urethra, forcing themselves into your cervix. Then my penis would explode. I'm trying so hard to say cervix.
Then his penis would explode and...
Then my penis would explode, releasing my sperm to fertilize the eggs, as well as my flesh and blood to offer nutrition. The spines would then tie themselves, holding your vagina closed until you're ready to give birth. I would grow a new penis over the course of a year or so. End quote.
That has answered all of my questions. The most burning question being, how is this sustainable if his dick blows up?
I read this and I like literally had to stop and think about it. I was like, this is maybe one of the most wild paragraphs I've ever read in my life.
It's so detailed.
No, it's so
specific.
Thankfully, Molly has a very normal reaction and freaks the fuck out at this. he starts freaking out too, because he's like, I'm so sorry. There must be a misunderstanding. I promise it's pleasurable. I promise it's a good thing. I promise. Like, and so somehow this time doesn't have to be that way. He's like, I can actually, like, I am feeling very sexually attracted to you just as you are, even though you're not a woman of my people. And
thanks for not being racist, Mr. Krabs.
Okay, Mr. Krabs. And he's like, I wouldn't mind doing a little something with you in this little mannequin form. Okay. But he obviously does not have, you know, a penis.
Yeah, there's not going to be breeding because the mannequin doesn't have the spines. Well, I was under the impression no, because he just said, okay, fine. Never mind.
How about you shut up and sit down and listen to this podcast as I tell it to you?
Will.
Okay, so somehow he can like change the plastic to make a penis.
Okay, that's fine. That's what I assumed.
And he admits he finds her sexually pleasing and asks her if she feels the same way. And she says, quote, you don't know how lucky you got to end up in this particular store tonight. Like,
I fuck mannequins here all the time.
Bug with mannequins so hard. Literally.
All the time in this store.
So remember when I said he split himself up into a bunch of pieces when he hit the mirror?
I haven't forgotten that he is also big plastic Easter eggs and plastic Easter grass.
I shouldn't say he's big plastic Easter. Like, they're like the ones you put candies into, right?
Okay,
like,
so that's exactly what I thought they were.
Okay, good.
And then I thought that was silly, but now here we are.
So he takes that and puts it into his crotch area and makes it into a penis. I'll elaborate on this later. It does not matter. So it does matter, but just put that in the back of your mind for later. Okay.
Simply not what I imagined. Continue.
So he is now undressing her. And in his internal dialogue, he's imagining a life with her. He's like, I could imagine giving her the mating bite of my people, sleeping next to her in our home by the sea, coming home to her after battle, having her touch her hands against my hard shell, which, by the way, he's described her hands as having little tentacles on the end.
Her hand? Oh, fingers.
Little fingers.
I was thought like maybe,
I literally did jazz fingers.
First of all, Sarah literally did jazz fingers. And second of all, I thought, I don't know, maybe this is a world of whimsy in which her fingers are literally tentacles, and that's just normal and fine.
No. But poor man does not know what oral sex is, because she's like, I don't think you can go down on me. He's like, I don't even know what that means. And she's like, well, you can't even move your mouth, so that's not going to do anything for me. He was like, do you do that to people? And she was like, come over here and find out. And like, she takes like one little licky lick, and he's like, oh, can't handle that. We can't go any further. I can't handle any of that.
Important
witchcraft.
To communicate boundaries.
Well, he likes it, but just too much. He's like, if I'm going to impregnate her, I got to go elsewhere for that. So the amount of dirty talk that just out the gate is hilarious, because she's so on board so fast, where she's like, give me that dick. Like, she's like dirty talking him. And meanwhile, his dirty talk is like intimately clinical. It's like, yes, I shall insert myself in, proclaim your body to be mine for breeding and for my pleasure. Like,
he get up in this menacussy.
He's like, I want to do so many things to your cervix, and like, he's using so many terms that are like absolutely ridiculous to hear in the heat of the moment. She keeps on being like, wow, I'm having sex with a mannequin. And he's like, no, I want you to know that this is not my true form. I am Olimer. You are having sex with Olimer. And he's like, so say it. Say who you're having sex with. And she's like, a mannequin. And he's like, no, say who you're having sex with. And she's like, a mannequin. And I want to say so bad, I don't think you guys are on the same page right now.
I can't tell if that's the most brutal diss or if she's stupid.
Well, I will tell you right now that this man is internally like fantasizing their life together, fantasizing like how much he's into her, he's attracted to her, and she's just thinking, mannequin, Mannequin. A mannequin is moving. A mannequin is touching me. This is my dream come true. And she's a little bit of a jerk to him. I'll get into this a little later. But like,
I mean, you could say his name.
Yeah. So then she finally, like on the 4th time, she finally is like, Oliver.
Thank you.
Anyway, so you're kind of like, thank God. All right.
Jeez.
So even though she got off, he is about to and says, are you ready to accept my seed? And she's like, puts a finger.
Captain.
She puts up a finger and says, I've got a few questions first. So they just stop having sex. And at this point, what questions would you have for him if this was propositioned to you?
Yeah. Will this be?
Yeah, sorry, I took a drink of my water, and you're like, sorry. So yeah, I've been thinking,
Mr. Krabs. I have a couple of questions for you. I guess mostly logistical. Like, how is this gonna work? Where do I need to be? Is the spine thing happening? Because I am pretty frightened about that. Are you going to continue to be a mannequin right now? I think you said you would be, but then I'm not sure how the seed exchange is going to work. Just like, practical questions.
No, very practical. She is like, I just think like this is such a, like I am having so much fun finally living out my dream, having sex with a mannequin. But that's so much different than being bred for years and years and years on a foreign planet. Like I need to really evaluate what this means for me in my future. So she asks just out the gate, like, what do you even look like? And so he projects an image into her mind and she is so aghast that like, he's so big and he's so crab-like. And he thinks she sees him as disgusting and he gets real sad. Real sad. Well. We have some really insecure men, alien men on this podcast. If you reflect on Given to the Ghoul.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
No one wants to be their true selves, even though it's what we love the most.
So she's now realizing that she broke his heart and she's now heartbroken. And she's like, do I have feelings for this crustacean? And he like
minutes have passed.
He like unties her from the little Easter grass.
The sad Easter
and she
grass
like scoots she just scoots to the end of the table and just kind of has a moment with him. And she's like, I'm not disgusted. I'm just a little scared and confused. Like, this is a lot, for me. And like, I've never seen anything like you before. And it looks like you could kill me. And he's like, yeah, that's actually like what I was made to do, is to kill.
Yeah.
Like,
so am I the bad guy?
He's like, yeah, we're actually trained to kill people with our minds, with the mind speaking. And she's like, so what if I have a baby who can mind speak and it accidentally kills me? She's like, he's like, well, we don't establish that capability until we're 200 years old. And she's like, see, now that's the age thing. Like, I just feel like there's going to be a lot that gets between us. And I'm really uncertain about it all. Mm-hmm. And Molly admits then that she's like, I've never really liked Earth, if we're going to be honest.
Or
humans for that fact. The only good thing about my day is masturbating with mannequins. So you know what? I'll go with you.
Absolutely devastating to hear.
Also, what a slam to him that it's like, she's like, you know what? I already am at rock bottom. It couldn't be worse with you.
I mean, is she wrong? So only she can be the judge of that.
He's like, well, I could have a mannequin made, and it's really expensive to do that on my planet, but we could do it like on special occasions and stuff so you can still make mannequin love to me. And she's like, oh, yes. And she literally says, quote, yes, fill me up, Ollie. It's time to go. All right. Now we're going to get into some technical stuff once again as we finish out our story.
That was iconic.
Yeah. It's unclear when they go at it again what his seed is like really made up of. Mm-hmm. Because some of his seed, okay, follow me here. Ready?
Tastes like mannequins.
All right, we're not. No. I don't even know what does that taste like.
Look, I don't know, but would you be surprised if it came up in this book? Me neither.
Honestly, at this point, no. So when he inserts himself,
this is an egg that he's attached to his mannequin body.
No, because I'm about to explain it. Okay, Ready? Okay, just shut up and listen.
Go.
All right. So all of his seed went into those eggs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He took those eggs, shrunk them down, and put them into the penis. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So those are now the eggs. The Easter eggs are now the eggs that he has to put inside her to then inseminate. Mm-hmm.
His seed inside the Easter egg you put candies in, and then
remember,
made them real small to fit in a penis so that he... Okay.
Because remember when I gave that really lengthy description, he has to put the egg of his people into her and then inseminate it, right?
Yeah.
These are like
with
tiny little Easter
penis.
eggs. Yeah. These are like the tiny little Easter eggs because they're all his seed.
If you put this seed under a microscope, you will be astounded to find a variety of colorful Easter eggs that break open to reveal actual sperm.
Yes. So he puts it in, and then he's like, this is going to hurt a little bit. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because it has to, remember, like, attached to her vaginal walls.
Yeah, I've been very concerned about it the whole time, actually.
And she, like, barks at him saying, screw you, hurry up, which I think is disrespectful. But I will get on that later. So when his actual seed comes out to inseminate, it has no residue, but feels like a river of soft energy. And then the plastic penis he has just disappears back into the mannequin.
Great. No questions.
Great. Excellent. No notes.
Can you one more time explain to me how the plastic penis... How did we get the plastic penis? Was that crafted?
When he when he crafted the penis, he used all those small eggs, made them real small and put them inside so they would shoot up, because those little plastic eggs.
I am not confused about the
eggs. Got it.
Inside the Easter eggs. What is his penis?
It is plastic. It's just he elongated, made it the plastic.
Yep. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Got it.
Gotcha.
All right.
We're all on the same page about how an alien mannequin would have sex with you. We got it.
Yes. Okay. So I'm not sure, again, if I fully picked that up correctly, but I think that's exactly what the author was telling us, because that's what she insinuated at the end, where she was like Molly looks around when they're like getting ready to go, and she's like, there are so many Easter eggs in here. Where'd they all go? Bam. They are inside you.
You didn't see when he
just shrunk them up?
Put his jizz into them and shrunk them real small and then put them inside his plastic penis? You didn't catch that part?
I guess not. So she's like, he's now like so excited to go with her. He's like describing what he's going to do. He's like, we're going to take good care of you. Like, I'm going to like get the best doctors. I'm going to get you bone armor and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, what? Wow. And she's like, wait, what? Wait, anyway. And then they just zoom off. Anyway, that is the end of the book, but I can't emphasize to you how much Molly's an asshole, because this man is smitten with her. And she's just like, sure, I got to have sex with a mannequin.
Bone armor?
No, I know. That was like a Hail Mary on the last page.
We don't even get a little post-mortem about like how the first baby. But
no. Hope, manage your expectations. Come on.
Sorry. Sometimes you get a little epilogue.
Yeah, no, I was hoping for an epilogue. We did not get one. How do you feel?
Sad that there wasn't an epilogue.
Yeah, no, I'm so sad. No. Diversity, I don't think we describe, other than his physical appearance. Again, I don't think we can really talk about any diversity.
No, although I have never seen a Mr. Krabs with tentacles pop up in any of our other books. So something to consider.
So what would you give the plot?
I mean, this is bonkers. So I'm going to give it a 4, because if it had a delightful little epilogue on the back end, that would have made it be a 5 for me, but it didn't. So here we are.
I'm giving it 3.5 because here's the thing. For 30 some pages, I am impressed because she went into a lot of detail about like how we lost the women's breeding capabilities, what they do to breed in his home space area.
The process of breeding.
Smut. What would you give it?
I mean, for me, it's like a 3.
I'm gonna go with a 4 because it was so much dirty talk, so aggressive. It was a lot for, again, 30 some pages and mannequin alien smut.
Yeah. It's more dirty talk than I could have expected.
I would have
alien mannequins.
Again, I think it was just so funny to me because his dirty talk was so clinical. Like it was so like official medical references. And anyway,
I was going to say stale or sterile is what I was going to say. But you don't want it to be sterile.
No, not in this plot.
Specifically, you want it to be the opposite.
And then the final thing is the cover. I posted the link there for you. Would you mind describing this cover for us, please?
Well, this is great. White background. It says right at the top, alien mannequin. There is a lovely painted face mannequin, just like in the book. So important. I would describe this as like he's got, full facial features, eyes, nose, eyebrows, lips, ears, like coloring on the lips to make them look a normal shade. And it does look like this mannequin has an incredible smoky eye. That's just my opinion.
No, it does.
This mannequin is beat to the gods. But like a blondish mannequin. And in front of his chest is a red curled up kind of octopus looking tentacle. Mm-hmm. And within that curled up little tentacle is what I assume is supposed to be a plastic Easter egg that's cracked open.
Yes.
With like turquoise and has little polka dots on it.
When I saw the cover, I did wonder where we were going with that one. So.
Well, now that I have the context, it all makes complete sense.
So I'm giving this actually a 4 because the Easter egg really just topped it off for me. What are you giving it?
Yeah, my favorite Easter egg in this is the Easter egg itself. Hilarious. I will also give it a 4. I like this. I don't know. Sometimes you get just like a very, very generic literal. Not this isn't literal, but like just a picture of a mannequin.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know. I feel like there are ways in which you could make this lame, but I think that this one's kind of cute for.
It is cute. I think for what it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I came out at a 76. You came out at a 73. That's pretty good. What's your say smut moment?
When I say smut moment is that she masturbates in a corner of the store where security cameras
of all
don't
the
reach.
Things.
Yes.
Because my say smut was when he described how his home people blow up their penises in their female counterparts.
Sure. That could be shocking. I was feeling very sex positive about the whole experience. I will just say I'm not. I'm just saying the ambiance, what I'm engaging in acts matters a lot, and the ambiance of store and being in public, even if there's no sound, is not great.
Well, I would also say the other say smut moment is her getting on board way too fast on this whole thing.
Yeah.
But also like the fact that he turned those little Easter eggs into his penis.
Yeah. Oh, that shit's crazy.
I
will wild. Say that was pretty nuts.
Well, that is the end of our book. That is the end of our podcast. Do you have any other notes?
This is a really beautiful book. Honestly, I thought Oliver deserved better.
Oliver does deserve better.
I stand Oliver, and I wish he found a better partner than Molly. I'm just not impressed.
No.
But other than that, no.
Well, you can find us if you so choose on TikTok or Instagram at Say Smut Podcast. Remember, we're doing that giveaway.
Yes.
And it goes until next Monday night. So additionally, we'd love to hear your book recommendations. Send those our way via email at saysmutpodcast@gmail.com. Also, pop us a rating. As we chatted earlier, you can, choose. We're going to ask you to. You don't have to, but again, you can put it in your heart though.
You could, because you're in ours. Don't forget that. You're always in. Even if you don't put it in your heart, you're still in ours.
Put it in your Easter egg. Yeah.
Put it in your Easter egg and then make that Easter egg very small and then put it in your
okay, all right. No, we're going to stop there. I'm going to stop you right there. All right, everyone. Stay smutty.
Bye.